Hey guys, what's going on YouTube? Today is going to be a lesson just for very beginner guitar players. Just showing you the first, basically the 4 chords you need to play like 1,000 songs that are popular nowadays. Just by moving the capo, you can play the same chord shapes and the same patterns and play 1,000 different songs, sadly. So the chords I'm going to show you today are G, E, D, and C, and also I'll show you maybe just a couple of different ways to play some of the chords. I'll even show you an A chord. Just why not, right? So we'll just go. We'll start with a G chord, everyone's favorite G chord. And there are, I'll show you, I guess, 2 different ways to play it. There's actually, I guess you can play it 100 different ways. But I'll show you the way I play it, and you can change it the way you play it. So first, what you want to do is you're going to put your first bottom fingers right here, your pinky finger and your ring finger, if I can talk, on the 3rd fret of the B and the E string. Those fingers. Just kidding. And then you're going to put your middle finger right above those 3 on the low E string on the 3rd fret. And then just sneak your first finger behind it, and voila, you have a G chord. And if you don't want to play with these 2 fingers like this, you can just put you can take your middle finger off and put your ring finger on the high E string, on the B string, however you want to do it. And if you're still a beginner and you can't quite get that shape down, if you can just do this, it's not going to sound as good. But if you just play the first couple strings, nobody's going to know you're not playing the right G chord. The next chord I'm going to teach you is the E minor chord, probably the easiest chord to play. If you just keep strumming that, you can, But that is, you take your first finger, put it on the 2nd fret of the A string, and sneak your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the D string. And hit all those. There's the E minor chord. If you want to play it a different way, you can play it with your middle finger on there, on the A string, and your ring finger on the D string. That is also a E minor. So G, E minor, I'm sorry, G, E minor. The next chord is a D chord. I'm going to save C for last because that's a harder chord. What you want to do is put your first finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, put your 2nd finger, when I say 1st, 2nd, and 3rd finger, I just mean from, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, yes. But if you want to call it like, your top finger, whatever you want to call it, that's just what I do. But yeah, anyway, first finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, and sneak your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And only strum these 4 strings. D major chord. That is a D major chord. By the way, the G was a G major chord, not a G minor chord. The E minor was an E minor chord. Okay, and my last chord I'm going to teach you. And this chord I had trouble with when I first started playing, so I'm going to show you a different way to play it. There's 2 different ways to play this chord that I think that sound good. Obviously there's more than 2 ways to play it. But this is the standard way to play a C chord. So put your first finger on the 1st fret of the B string. Put your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and put your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. Voila, you have a C chord. And you can play all the strings if you want. You can play just from this string up. It's very full if you play that. What I started doing first is I kind of I couldn't get this finger there, so I kind of just played these 2. And it kind of sounds like a diminished C chord. It doesn't really sound that bad, honestly. But try to get that one in there. And another way to play a C chord, which is really easy for beginner players, is you take your B chord, or I'm sorry, your B chord, Jesus, your G chord, and just move your fingers, put them down. So put your first finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and your 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. That's what's called a C add 9. And you can take this finger off. You can do kind of like a G chord, which just move down. You can take whatever you want to do with these 2 fingers. Doesn't really matter. This is a better way to play a C. I mean, it's a lot easier to go from G to C this way. I mean, that's it if you want to play it that way. The last chord I'm going to teach you is an A, and also I'm going to show you like a major and minor version of the E and the A, just for shits and giggles. So an A, probably one of the easier chords as well, besides E minor. Put your first finger on the first. Put your first finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and then put your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, and your 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the B string. Voila, you have an A chord, A major chord. You can play it however many ways you want. We can start from this down like a pyramid if you want. I see a lot of people, they put it like this. So they put these 2, kind of like a D chord down here, but with your first finger on the D string and your 3rd finger on the B string, and then they move their middle finger up. I guess it's easier for them. That's if you want to play it that way. So what have we learned so far? Okay, a G, E minor, D. By the way, those are the chords to closing time. So if you want to play that, just a sneak preview. An A chord. Now I'm going to teach you how to play an E major and an A minor, because they're very similar. You just move them up and down. So E major, you know, you have that E minor. This is why people play E minor like this, because all you do, sorry, I can't really see that, but take your first finger upon the 1st fret of the G string, then put that E minor shape right where you had it before. E minor. That's all you gotta do. You can play it like this, play it like that or that. Wherever we want to play it, but the easiest way is just these 2, like the E minor, and just slide that finger right below it. And for an A minor, all you do is just go down. So 1st finger on the D string, 2nd finger on the D string, 3rd finger on the G string, and then you want to put your 1st finger on the B string. So it's like an A, but instead of your 1st finger being up here, you move it up 2, or move it up 1, I guess, and then put your 1st finger on the B string. So A minor, E major. So that's about, what, 6 chords? G, D, E, C, C add 9, E major, A minor. And just practice the chord shapes. As far as chord switching, I'll post a video about how it's easier to switch chords going from, that just takes practice. I mean, obviously, everything takes practice. If you need any more help, I'll post a video about bar chords. Everyone loves bar chords. And just keep it posted, guys. I'll keep posting videos about different chords. Beginner lessons. These are all beginner lessons. If you need help with anything, shoot me a video. Any ideas for a video, just send me a message. So, I thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.